Now we're live.
Yes, good morning, Christina.
Morning.
How are you today?
Good morning, Kirsten. I'm doing very well also because outside there's a bit of sun. They like this wonderful autumn sun and through the leaves, and it creates so many colors. And I have to admit that now saying that it creates so many colors, it makes me think that what we're going to discuss today actually does that. It creates so many colors in the development of a coach. Our topic for today that we've set as there
Very
at the
elegant
event.
segue, by the way.
Can connect to everything. I thought it would be wonderful to approach this topic of mentor coaching because I think the mentor coaching does exactly that. Through the entire process, you do create all of those colors in the repertoire of a coach. You just support them in their growth and help them towards those core competencies of ICF, and I think they are linked also with some of them to developing also to the EMCC core standard, even if that's not the goal of mentor coaching. But talking about that, the structure that would like to invite you to keep for our 20 minutes conversation of today is first of all making sure that everyone understands what is mentor coaching. So what is it, when do we use it, what's the purpose of it. Second element I find it as extremely useful is to look at what is mentor coaching compared to the standard definition of mentoring, because it's not the same thing and it should not be seen as the same thing. Third element that I would like to cover is to make sure that we look at mentor coaching not in comparison, but in parallel with supervision. Because again, mentor coaching is the core development tool, I would say it from ICF perspective, while supervision is the main or the core development tool for the perspective of EMCC. So I think it's important to look at this too also. And the last one is to say, well, now that I know what mentor coaching is and what it can do for me as a coach, but if I want to engage in mentor coaching and I want to take upon a mentor coach, how would I do that? And in parallel with the process of maybe I will be fun to get engaged in doing that. How do I get to be a mentor coach? So
Mhm.
this would be the core elements that I see for covering really and having a pure deep discussion around mentor coaching. Hope that that covers pretty much everything that anyone out there would say, yeah, I would like to know about it. And if
And
there's
if
any questions
there are any
left,
questions,
exactly, type
we can
them,
see
ask
them.
us, tell us. Okay,
Even
so
after the event, you can ask in the comments and we will answer.
yes. So then let's kick it off. Let's start with what is mentor coaching. And I think in this case, with your huge experience of acting as a mentor coach with a lot of coaches, different levels, different stages of development, I would pose the question of what is your definition of mentor coaching? And let's start from there.
So I would think mentor coaching, I think the best way to label this would be to say we have ICF mentor coaching and we have mentor coaching. So what we're talking about right now is both, but from where we're starting is ICF mentor coaching. And ICF mentor coaching is you and a mentor talking about a recording of one of your coaching sessions in light of the ICF core competencies, with the goal of attaining a credential or of looking at how much are you fulfilling the ICF core competencies in this recording, where is there room for growth, etc., etc. And when we do mentor coaching, we do that with the help of a transcript that we generate for our mentor coaching clients. We have a very nifty automation going there. So you just get sent a link, you upload the recording with that link, and then you receive the transcript and your mentor receives the transcript. Both of the mentor and the client, mentor coaching client, listen to the recording again and then discuss. And I think that is the best way to actually see what happened in the session. What did you say? What did the client say? Because for us at Solutions Academy, coaching is always a co-creation. So you can't just look at what did the coach do, you always have to look at the co-creation. What opportunities were there in what the client said, how did you as a coach respond? What other opportunities might there have been? And it's usually a fun process. Maybe except if you really, really, really want a credential and it's the 15th recording that you sent in and you go like, but I want to get this. But otherwise it is, if you don't have that pressure, it is a very fun process and very insightful. And I just love looking at my own recordings this way because I go like, oh my God, what did you do there? Or I was like, oh, that was not a bad question.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And indeed, I feel it like it helped me also in my development. And I think that's the feeling, that's the answer that I get also from all of the coaches that I engage with when it comes to being their mentor coach, that at the end of the day, even if that process seems extremely, you'll get everything looked at and one more time and discussed and evaluated, and that feeling of being evaluated, not necessarily about being evaluated, but talking about how can you become even more of the coach that you want to become. I think at the end of the day they all go like, this has paid off. I now feel like I'm there, and the
But I
confidence
remember when I mentored you like 3 or so years ago, and the only thing that I said was, yeah, keep doing this. This is wonderful. This is great.
it's slowly get there. And yes, thank you also for the trust back then. No, I've learned plenty. And that's when we look now at mentor coaching, also from now understanding what it is and how it's being used by ICF. I'm wondering if we can move now, if we should move now towards the direction of looking at mentor coaching compared to mentoring, that standard understanding of mentoring.
Yeah. I just had a conversation with David Clutterbuck around this definition. And really, if you want to know what mentoring is, like mentoring and coaching, then just go read David Clutterbuck's books, because he defines mentoring very well and has lots of interesting material out there. And mentoring, as opposed to mentor coaching, is a senior person in an organization using mentoring and coaching skills to help a junior person in that organization grow and make use of their potential, and yeah, help that person be as effective and as well as they can be in that organization. So it's very close to coaching, with the added bonus that the mentor will have some field knowledge in whatever you're trying to develop. So that's why I really strongly advocate for labeling mentor coaching ICF mentor coaching, because it's not the same as mentoring as it is normally understood. And I think ICF in a way have usurped the term. It was called mentoring 20 years before ICF then started using that term for these very defined activities around coaching, recording, feedback, with the core competencies. So I would say ICF, no, over here, ICF mentor coaching, mentoring, different thing.
Mm-hmm. And it feels also from the way we approach those conversations, I would say, because I think in the mentor coaching, you look clearly and very focused on what is it that the coach would like to achieve in this, from their own growth in this particular conversation. And I really love that parallel between a coaching session and a mentor coaching session, because of what do we want to do today? How do we want to work on that?
I mean, it does have a more strongly defined scope from the ICF side. So mentor coaching is not, how do I develop my business? That could be a mentoring session. An ICF mentor coaching session is not, I want to talk about, I am not feeling well with this client. That would be a supervision session. An ICF mentor coaching session is, here is a recording. Please, let's both listen to it and let's see how it maps to the core competencies, the PCC markers, the ACC behavioral statements, or the MCC behavioral statements.
Mm-hmm. And now, as you brought in
Sorry
also
about the
this,
confusion, but that's what it is.
and that's why we have this conversation right now, to make sure that we like put sort things in their own glass so we can look at it separately. And as you brought in also the element and the comparison towards supervision as well-being or anything related to the coach, let's just move also in that direction: mentor coaching and supervision. What are the
So
two positioned?
ICF mentor coaching we've just defined, supervision has many purposes, and supervision is where a senior practitioner, coaching practitioner, um, has a generative conversation with a coach, with a supervision client who is a coach, around their coaching practice. So this could be a case supervision. This could be about a restorative conversation. Maybe you have clients that are emotionally troubling for you and you want to discuss that. Um, it could be around a quality or ethical issue. So it's really having a senior practitioner who will look at your coaching or other, because there's not only coaching supervision, could be
Mhm.
leadership supervision, could be educational supervision, whatever, practice, so that you have the best possibility to grow. And then the topic can be varied. Could be, I have a client, I don't know what to do. I have this type of clients, I am unsure what to do. I have an ethical problem. I'm not sure if I acted ethically in this realm. I have a problem with this and this coaching skill, or even I have a case. So any kind of discussions. It could also be listening to a little bit of a recording, but then not with the idea of comparing it to ICF core competencies. But that would be about, okay, in this case, I didn't feel so competent. What could I do instead? But so that there is a mini bit of an overlap, but not really much.
I think by explaining also there what would be topics, potential topics for supervision compared to potential topics when it comes to mentor ICF mentor coaching, I think that also helps to
Mhm.
sort them a bit.
I'm just thinking
Um,
maybe we should call our mentor coaching course ICF mentor coaching course to make it clearer, because it's just, I don't know. I think it's ICF's fault to have this confusion, but it is what it is right now, and it doesn't make much sense to see who is at fault. It's just so ICF mentor coaching course we have.
take it with us. And I think that's what you pointed in there is about making sure that we define the language that we want to use and define what we mean and what we understand through the language that we put out there. So ICF meant coaching, that's what it means. And for all of the other ones, we just went through supervision and mentoring. And looking at all of these ones, naturally we need to move also in the direction of obviously all of the coaches once they want to move towards an ICF certification conversation that we said about certification accreditation will leave aside. So once we want to move towards an ICF certification, to get the ACC or PCC or MCC credential, you need to engage in mentor coaching, ICF mentor coaching from that definition. And I'm wondering if we should now go and a bit explore about what does it require, how should we consider a mentor, selecting one of the mentor coaches, and if there's anything that you would say, well, maybe take on account this kind of items because they might help you in your long-term development.
So for every upgrade in an ICF credential, you need 10 hours of mentor coaching. And this, if when you're looking to find a mentor for yourself, for that person, an ICF mentor for yourself, for that purpose, I would strongly recommend checking if that ICF mentor has experience with the recent redevelopment and renewals of the core competencies, and if this mentor is familiar with what it takes to have a recording pass at the level that you're aspiring to, because there have been changes with the ICF, and there are some mentors who did not have the time to keep up. And sometimes we have people coming into our mentoring sessions with recordings where another mentor said, "This is brilliant, this is wonderful," and we go like, "Yes, it is brilliant, it is wonderful, but it will not just yet pass the ICF performance evaluation." So I would strongly recommend, before you choose a mentor, check, does this mentor know about the recent changes at ICF? What is the experience of the mentor of actually getting people through the performance evaluation? What is their ratio of pass fail when it comes to sending in the client sending in recording to ICF? And I think we can pride ourselves. I'm part of the ICF, PCC, and MCC assessors group, so I know what we are looking for, and I'm passing that information on to Solutions Academy mentors. And also all of our mentors have gone through the PCC marker training at ICF. So that's also a question you can ask a mentor. Have you done the PCC marker training with ICF? And if they haven't,
consider
if you
it.
love them and they know everything, but it doesn't help you if you get feedback that then won't help you pass the performance evaluation. I mean, nothing against my colleagues, it'll probably still be a valuable experience, but if your goal is passing the performance evaluation, have someone who knows what is needed.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a part also of this. I don't know if I want to put it in the direction of a quality check, but I think that the new PCC training that is available via ICF for the ones that get invited provides you a solid understanding of what it takes exactly to support, and what the kind of questions you need to hear as a mentor coach, and you need to help also your client to move towards that level of bringing that clarity of markers in their recording. So I think that's also might be a useful tip for all of the mentor coaches out there. Think also.
If you want to be a mentor coach, going to ICF and asking to be part of the mentor coaching of the PCC marker training is a really, really good thing, because you really do need to know what the ICF requires. And if you want to add on lots of experience, commercial break, but we do have this lovely mentor coach training where we go through all the competencies in details. We analyze 2 recordings together to really be able to gauge what is the difference between ACC and PCC, and what does it take, and how to be very clear and aligned on what are the requirements. And we also cover, how do you actually run a mentor coaching session? How do you give feedback? How can you help your mentor coaching client to develop as quickly as possible? And what are your own biases to be aware of? So it's a really interesting training. If you are a coach, I would probably say PCC level coach who wants to help other coaches get PCC. And there is a lot of business out there, especially for qualified mentors, because everybody needs mentor coaching. So I think it's a good investment to get trained and either take the PCC market training or our mentor coaching training, or both.
Like the part of both, because I think each of the 2 courses, as I went through both of them, and I know what we have are offering internally also, they provide a useful information and help you also on because they have a different focus. ICF obviously looks at, no, these are the markers and you should know them. Well, I think ours really prepares you to go out there and say, I'm a mentor coach. And I'm doing ICF mentor coaching from that perspective. I know how to handle the entire process and take a client to the result that they want.
And you get a cool badge, Solutions Academy Certified Mentor Coach. Yay, yay, yay. You can put that everywhere.
That you can also bring on your ICF mentor registry, is it called? Am I remembering correctly?
Yes,
Because
so
I think
people
that's
can find
also,
you.
yeah, and I think that's also a useful thing when we were talking about earlier around how would you know if it's a mentor coach that has the experience and the knowledge. Things you can also use the registry that is on the ICF website. Check, and in there you can also see how they have gained their knowledge, because they have to list a course. One of those can be also ours, because I know that we have a couple of mentor coaches out there that do provide high quality to our future coaches.
And I think that's really what I am very keen on, to have mentor coaches who know the criteria and who are able to support mentees in a positive way.
Yeah.
Kind of looking for competence and then saying, this is already great. For the next step, these are some things you might be doing differently, and collaborating with a mentee rather than going, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I mean, nobody likes to learn in a deficit-oriented way.
Yeah.
So good feedback, but resource-oriented one.
Exactly, resource oriented. And I think it's also towards the keeping what you want to be, what kind of coach, and how what it makes you strength, gives you strength as a coach. Those things are those assets that should be celebrated and kept in there. Okay, I think we've covered a couple of things. Maybe I aim at a short summary, and then if there's any questions, more than happy to see them after that, and see what else we should talk about when it comes to mentor coaching. So we looked at ICF mentor coaching from the perspective of what it provides. Guessing it's not a potential mentee, or maybe that's the way somebody was trying to put in a question out there. If that's also something that you want to just talk to us directly, no, phone wise, also on the Solutions Academy page, website, you will find that solutionsacademy.com/contact. For both of us and for everyone else from Solutions Academy, you will find a link where you can book a call or book a Zoom link, Zoom conversation, and more than happy to actually do it like this, because I think provides a better way of learning about everyone out there and also answering questions. So coming back to summarizing ICF mentor coaching. ICF mentor coaching is from the perspective of ICF as something that you use for your development when it comes to making sure that you embed those competencies within the way you're coaching. Is based on the recording. So you record yourself doing a coaching session with somebody, send it to your mentor, and then both of you look at that recording from the perspective of how are the markers being shown, where, and as we were talking about, it's about celebrating what you have already and how you can reach an even higher level. So this is about how it works. Second, no, the third thing that we've looked at is ICF mentor coaching and mentoring. And really, we take also your example that you gave in there, Kirsten, of saying, look at a book from David Clutterbuck. Maybe that would be also something that we can put in the resources after this conversation, so people can go and have a full reading around what is mentoring from the pure perspective of mentoring. And we can add also what is the definition, or the page or the link on the ICF website where you can see the full definition of ICF mentor coaching. Now, when we look a step further and we take a look in comparison or in parallel with supervision, supervision has the role of, let's talk about your business, let's talk about your development, let's talk about your well-being, things like that. ICF mentor coaching, go back to competences. And to close out everything, if you need to engage into a mentor coaching relationship from the ICF perspective, think about the mentor's capabilities, think about the training that they went through, if they are on the ICF mentor registry, if they went through the PCC markers training with ICF, or if they went through a course like, for example, ours. And especially have a conversation with them before that to fully understand what is it that they see as process for mentor coaching, and if that fits you. And not the least topic would be, if you say, I've listened to you talking, and yes, that would help me extend and expand the business and the type of services that I'm offering, not only coaching people, but also supporting future coaches in their growth. Do take a look at our ICF mentor coach training. There's just 10 sessions, but in those 2 hours for 10 weeks, you get plenty of understanding of the ACC bars, PCC markers. You look at your process of doing mentor coaching. You look at how you give feedback. You look at how do you set up everything around that activity of supporting a a mentee, and not least, you look at also the biases that you might be bringing in the conversation. So I think it helps you to develop not only as a mentor coach, but it strongly helps you to develop also as a coach, because you'll leave from there with plenty of questions from the interaction with all of the other coaches being present in the virtual room. So I think that's pretty much what we've covered in, look, if you look at the time in 25 minutes, look how many things we've already summarized and explored. Any additional or something that you would say, would be interesting to keep in mind on this subject?
No,
You think?
join us. If you have more questions, we also have the free meetups and exchanges at solutionsacademy.com/registration. You can just come and talk to us in a group setting, which is always fun. So, hoping to see you there.
We see each other next week with a different topic. And for
Yes.
mentor coaching, more than happy to explore further if needed. Okay. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Thanks a lot for this conversation.